Hi, this is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com. Welcome to the South Carolina College Baseball video recap for Friday, April the 19th. There were 30 games involving state teams played on Friday, Good Friday, for those of you who are believers. And we will take a look at them in just a minute. But first, one special mention of an individual performance. Down at Riley Park in Sumter, Mike Joyce of Florence Darlington Tech pitched a 7-inning no-hitter as FT Tech beat USC Sumter by a score of 4-0 in the first game of a doubleheader. Joyce becomes the second player in the state to pitch a no-hitter for a state team this year. Carson Bay of USC Union did one earlier. Joyce allowed no hits, of course. He struck out 9 in the 7-inning victory. Now, going on to game action. In NCAA Division I, Jacob Jarrell hit his 10th homer of the season, and Lucas Malstat picked up his 14th save as Clemson beat Louisville by a score of 2-1 to clinch a series win in ACC play. The Tigers have now won all 6 ACC series. They have 4 remaining. Clemson is now 35-6, 13-4 in the ACC. Louisville fell to 27-11 and 9-8. Drew Titsworth got his first start of the season, pitched 7 shutout innings. Actually, it was his first career start at Clemson. He did well. Luke Gaffney single, doubled, and drove in a run for the Tigers. Louisville got its homer on a solo homer in the 9th inning against Malstat, but he still qualified for his save. He is now in second place all time in Clemson's single season saves list, and he is leading the nation in saves. Down in Columbia, South Carolina clinched its first SEC series win of the season as Jake McCoy allowed a run and struck out 7 in 6 1/3 innings as the Gamecocks beat Ole Miss 7-2. Nathan Hall homered and drove in 3 runs for the Gamecocks, who are now 23-17, 4-13 in the SEC. Still got a lot of cotton to chop to get up to NCAA contention. Ole Miss fell to 27-12 and 9-8, and the Rebels have never won an SEC series in Columbia. Down in Conway, Cameron Flukie pitched a 5-hit shutout, and Coastal Carolina run-ruled Marshall for the second straight day, this time 10-0 in 7 innings, and a Sun Belt Conference game. Of course, that clinches the conference series win for the Chanticleers. Coastal is now 29-10 overall, 13-4 in the Sun Belt. Marshall fell to 18-21 and 6-11. Caden Bodine had 3 hits, and 3 Chant teammates drove in 2 runs apiece in the game. Up in Boston, first place Northeastern got to College of Charleston starter Jake Brink for 2 runs in the 7th inning to break up a double shutout, and the Huskies held on for a 4-0 victory in the opener of a Coastal Athletic Association series. The Huskies, coached by Mike Glavin, brother of former Braves star Tom Glavin, are now 28-9 overall, 11-2 in the CAA. College of Charleston fell to 22-14 and 7-6. That was the 10th shutout for Northeastern's pitching this year. That's pretty good these days. Over in Rock Hill, Kobe Croft and Ethan Wilson hit grand slams, and Winthrop shut out Gardner Webb 15-0 in Big South Conference play to clinch that series. Owen Sarna struck out 8 in 7 innings for the Eagles. Winthrop is now 21-20 overall, even the record at 7-7 in the Big South. Gardner Webb fell to 16-14 and 5-9. Down in Charleston, they had a wild one. Longwood scored 6 runs in the top of the first inning, and they eventually got up to a 7-run lead. But Caden Smith doubled, homered twice, and drove in 7 runs, and the Charleston Southern Buccaneers rallied for a 15-11 victory. Pretty wild stuff. They scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th to break an 11-11 tie. The Buccaneers are now 21-14 overall. They've evened their record at 7-7. Longwood fell to 10-29 and 4-10. Up in Cullowhee, Western Carolina scored 3 runs in the 4th and 4 in the 5th. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. I don't have enough technical skill to hit the sneeze button or to pause things. The Catamounts beat Wofford 7-4 to even that Southern Conference series. The Catamounts are now 18-20 overall, 3-8 in the SoCon. Wofford fell to 24-16 and 3-8. Up in Radford, Virginia, Presbyterian was 8 runs down, rallied to tie it in the top of the 9th, sent it to the bottom of the 9th with a 12-12 score, and James Ward hit a 3-run walk-off homer for the Highlanders. PC fell to 16-21, 8-6. Radford improved to 19-19 and 7-7. In the other game involving NCAA Division I team for the state, USC Upstate and UNC Greensboro went 15 innings over at Cleveland S. Harley Park. I watched about the last 6 innings of it. Pretty good stuff, except if you're a Spartans fan. As it turns out, UNC Greensboro pushed across a run in the top of the 15th and held on to win that game 4-3. That evens that non-conference series at 1-1. UNCG is now 18-20. Upstate fell to 20-19, and 20 Spartans hitters struck out in that game. In other conference play, in Conference Carolinas, Gideon Antle singled twice, homered and drove in 4 runs, and North Greenville won its 15th straight game by beating King by a score of 9-1 in the opener of their series up in the Tri-Cities area of Tennessee. In that game, the Trailblazers are now 19-8 overall. That's not right. 39-8 overall, 18-7 in the conference. King fell to 12-32 and 7-18. As far as a highlight, Matty Brown went 7 shutout innings for North Greenville, did not allow a walk or a run, and struck out 8. Down in Florence, Charlie Bussey had 3 hits, scored 2 runs, and drove in 2 as Francis Marion won the opener of its Conference Carolina series against Shawan. That score was 11-2. The Patriots are now 34-11 overall, 20-8 in the Conference Carolina. Shawan fell to 6-27 and 4-21. Rayeth Peterson went 2 for 4, doubled, walked, stole a base, scored 2 runs, and drove in 2 runs for the Patriots. Up in Cary, North Carolina, UNC Pembroke beat Erskine by a score of 5-2 in the opener of that series. The Braves are now 24-19 overall, 12-13 in Conference Carolinas. Erskine fell to 18-26 and 7-18. That series is being played up there because of construction at UNC Pembroke's home park. In the final game involving a state team in Conference Carolinas, Emmanuel won its series opener at Southern Wesleyan by a score of 11-7. The Lions are now 22-22 overall, 11-14 in the conference. Southern Wesleyan fell to 9-36 and 8-17. Nolan Evett singled, doubled, homered, walked, scored 2 runs, and drove in 4 for the Warriors. In the Peach Belt Conference, Taichi Nakeo and Connor Droves homered, and 5 players had at least 2 hits apiece as Lander run-ruled Claflin 11-1 in 7 innings to open that Peach Belt Conference series. Claflin unfortunately has lost 26 straight games. Lander is now 31-13 overall, 18-4 in the conference. Claflin fell to 5-34-1 and 0-22. Dominic Pachetti went 6 innings, struck out 10 to get his 8th win. He's now 8-1 for the Bearcats. There's now a game and a half behind North Georgia. North Georgia beat USC Aiken on Friday by the score of 13-8. The Nighthawks are now 32-12 overall, 20-3 in the conference. Aiken fell to 18-26 and 8-15. And for the Pacers, Caden Ustry doubled, homered, and drove in 5 runs. A tough game for USC Beaufort down in St. Augustine, Florida. The Sand Sharks had a lead going to the bottom of the 9th inning. Eli Maddox hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th, and Flagler won that game by a score of 2-1 in walk-off fashion. Second straight day where Flagler rallied in its final at bat to beat USC Beaufort. Flagler improved to 28-15, 12-11 in the conference. USC Beaufort fell to 8-33 and 4-19. In the South Atlantic Conference, Cade Faircloth drove in 3 runs and stole 2 bases, and Jonathan Viglez doubled and tripled as Newberry beat Anderson by a score of 8-5. The Wolves improved to 23-21 overall, 12-16 in the SAC. Anderson fell to 23-20 and 11-14. Chants and Cole had another great start for Newberry. Went 8 innings, allowed 2 earned runs, and he struck out 5. He's having a great year for a freshman from Boiling Springs. Elsewhere, Coker took the lead with 3 runs in the 5th and held on to beat Lincoln Memorial to open that series. Final score was 6-5. The Cobras are now 26-18 overall, 14-11 in the conference. Lincoln Memorial fell to 22-20 and 11-14. And in that game, Brenton Adams got the save, 2 innings of shutout baseball for Coker. Limestone has been having a terrible week. Of course, they got the news earlier this week that apparently the school is going to close down at worst, and at best they're going to dump sports and go to an online only thing. So a lot of Limestone athletes are looking for places to transfer to if they got eligibility left. Got another heartbreaking blow today. They lost to Wingate by a score of 8-5. The Saints had a 5-4 lead going into the bottom of the 8th, and Wingate scored 4 runs in the bottom of the inning and held on to win. Wingate improved to 22-21 overall, 13-12 in the SAC. Limestone fell to 21-22 and 12-13. Among other four-year schools, Jerry Pinckney was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded to drive in the winning run in the bottom of the 9th as Spartanburg Methodist beat Carolina University 10-9 in the Continental Athletic Conference Showdown down at Lawrenceville, Georgia. That's at the Georgia Gwinnett Athletic Complex. Later in the day, the Pioneers were shut out by the host Georgia Gwinnett Grizzlies by a score of 8-0. It was a close game, and Georgia Gwinnett scored a bunch in the bottom of the 7th. With the split today, the Pioneers fell to 18-26. They're 7-22 in the Continental Athletic Conference, which is really a loosely based conference, more just for scheduling than anything. And Georgia Gwinnett, which is one of the top NAIA programs in the country over the last decade or so, is now 40-4 and 5-0 in the CAC. Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference leader Spring Hill swept Benedict. The scores were 19-6 in Game 1 and 15-9 in Game 2. Spring Hill's having a great season. They are 33-10 overall, 26-2 in the conference. With those losses today, Benedict fell to 19-15 and 15-13. Bob Jones had a 10-5 lead late in the game, but Southeastern Baptist scored the final 7 runs and won that game 12-10 down in Mississippi. Southeastern Baptist is now 15-13. Bob Jones fell to 9-24 and its 6th straight loss. The Bruins got 2 runners on, but they stranded them to end the game. It was another case of the Bob Jones bullpen not being able to close the game out, as something Coach Kyle Morrison told me earlier this year has been a problem because some of the guys he was counting on transferred out after the school dropped baseball for about a 3-week period back in the fall. But tough loss to the Bruins, but they've got a doubleheader tomorrow, and they'll see what they can do from there. In Junior College Region 10, as I mentioned, Mike Joyce threw that no-hitter in Game 1 as Florence Darlington Tech beat USC Sumter by a score of 4-0. In the Game 2, the Fire Ants won when Carew Bates had a 10th inning walk-off single. It was Bates' second hit of the game, and the Fire Ants won that game 2-1. As I said, it was in 10 innings. After today's results, Florence Darlington Tech is at 40-9, 22-4 in the region. USC Sumter is 4-21 and 12-14 in the region. In Jonesville, USC Lancaster evened its overall record at 22-22 by sweeping USC Union in a couple of games. First game score was 5-2. The second game score was 15-5. The Lancers are now 22-22 overall, 14-12 in the region. USC Union fell to 27-18 and 11-15. Finn McLaughlin had 3 hits and drove in 5 runs for the Lancers in the nightcap. Up at Sims Legion Park in Gastonia, Gaston College clinched the 2nd seed for the region tournament with a sweep of USC Salkehatchie. The Rhinos won the first game 11-0 in 5 innings. They were up 5-0 in the middle innings against USC Salkehatchie. The Indians rallied to tie it, but Gaston College broke out and won it 9-5. Zach Faulkner hit a grand slam for the Indians in Game 2. In the SEC and ACC, now there are several games still going on. I will post the complete standings once all the games are over, but right now here's what I've got. Boston College beat Wake Forest 7-2. Duke beat Pitt 6-5. North Carolina beat Virginia Tech 9-6. Other games still going on, and of course the Virginia-Florida State game was canceled because of the tragic campus shooting at Tallahassee. In the SEC, Arkansas beat Texas A&M 11-5 in Game 1. They were still playing Game 2. A&M was up big late. Auburn lost to Texas 8-3. Florida beat Mississippi State 13-3 in 8 innings. LSU beat Alabama 4-3. And Oklahoma swept Missouri. First game score was 17-7. Second game score 12-1. So the Sooners swept that 3-game series. Also, Tennessee beat Kentucky 8-2 to open their series. The Georgia game and the second Georgia Vandy game and Texas A&M Arkansas games are still going on as I record this. And again, I will update the standings for the ACC and SEC after all games are over. Well, what about the games for Saturday? I'm going to run them down in time order from earliest to latest. I'm not going to break it down by divisions right now. Erskine is at UNC Pembroke in Cary, North Carolina for a doubleheader at noon. Lincoln Memorial is at Coker at noon for a doubleheader. North Greenville is at King for a doubleheader at noon. Anderson goes back down to Smith Road Complex in Newberry for a 1 o'clock doubleheader. Bob Jones is at Southeastern Baptist for a doubleheader at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, noon Central Time. Shawan is at Francis Marion for a doubleheader. Claflin plays a doubleheader at Landers, Dolney Stadium in Greenwood. Emmanuel is at Southern Wesleyan for a doubleheader at 1. Limestone is at Wingate for a doubleheader at 1. College of Charleston tries to even its series at Northeastern with a 1 o'clock game. That's the only series that will have a game on Sunday. Also, Florence Darlington Tech and USC Sumter play the rubber game of their series at 1 o'clock in Sumter. Longwood is at Charleston Southern at 1 as the Buccaneers go for a series sweep. Ditto for Coastal Carolina going for a series sweep with a 1 o'clock home game against Marshall. Presbyterian is at Radford at 1 o'clock. USC Aiken is at North Georgia at 1. USC Beaufort is at Flagler at 1. USC Lancaster is at USC Union at 1. USC Salkehatchie is at Gaston College at 1. Gardner-Webb is at Winthrop at 2 o'clock. Louisville and Clemson complete their series at 2 o'clock at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. South Carolina goes for a series sweep at home against Ole Miss at 2 o'clock. Spring Hill is at Benedict at 2 o'clock. UNC Greensboro is at USC Upstate at 2 o'clock. And Wofford is at Western Carolina at 2. Spartanburg Methodist will play 2 more games down in Lawrenceville on Saturday. They'll play Carolina University again at 11 a.m. Then they will face Georgia Gwinnett at 2 o'clock. Those will be 7-inning games. And that will round out the schedule for Saturday, April the 19th. You can always follow me at Palmetto Base on X. My stuff is posted at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. Email me at RudyJones at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. I just want to hear what you want me to do better to help improve my coverage of college baseball in South Carolina. And for now, this is Rudy Jones saying good night. Jesus loves you.